Somewhere in the vast silence of the southern sea, a double-hulled canoe rests inside a gentle, oval-shaped cradle of standing water. Here, where two deep ocean swells meet and soften against one another, an invisible fence of water holds the vessel in a steady rhythm. Under a blanket of dark clouds, the navigator feels the slow, rhythmic rise and fall of the hull, knowing they are safely on course. Before we sail any further, if this is your first night here, go ahead and hit subscribe. And leave a comment telling me which city you're listening from tonight. I read every single one. For a completely clean experience with no ads, follow us on Spotify, link in the description below. Let us go back in time, long before the first sails appeared on the horizon. Imagine the Pacific Ocean as it was then, the pristine, blue world of absolute silence. This vast body of water is so immense that it covers more than 160 million square kilometers. It is a space larger than all the continents of our Earth combined. For thousands of years, this ocean lay under the sun and the stars, untouched and completely quiet. The silence here was not empty. It was a rich, heavy stillness. It was the sound of deep water rolling in long, slow swells. These waves traveled across millions of square miles of open sea, uninterrupted by any land, whispering secrets to the endless sky. If you were to stand there, in the middle of that ancient world, the weight of the silence would wrap around you like a warm, protective blanket. In the daytime, the ocean was a deep, dreaming blue. It stretched all the way to the horizon, where it met a sky of a lighter, softer shade. There were no ships. There were no voices. There was only the gentle sigh of the wind as it brushed across the tops of the waves. In the evening, the sun would begin its long, slow descent. It would paint the clouds in soft brushstrokes of lavender, gold, and dusty pink. The light would fade slowly, taking its time, before dissolving into a soft, velvety black. And then, the stars would appear. Thousands of tiny, brilliant lights, shining down on an ocean that lay perfectly still, like a dark mirror. There were no artificial lights on the shore, because there were no shores yet discovered. There was only the slow, steady breathing of the ocean, the rise and the fall of the swell, and the cool, damp touch of the night breeze. In this vast space of 13 million square miles, the islands waited in silence. There were high volcanic mountains wrapped in green mist, and tiny sand atolls surrounded by calm, jade-green lagoons. They slept in the middle of the sea, lonely and quiet, under the watchful eyes of the ancient constellations. The ocean was not a barrier to be feared. It was a vast, breathing highway, waiting for the ones who knew how to read its quiet signs, waiting for the ones who would treat it as a home. Thousands of years ago, a gentle movement began. Near the quiet shores of Southeast Asia and Taiwan, some 5,000 to 7,000 years ago, a group of people began to look out toward the eastern horizon. These were the ancient Austronesians, the ancestors of the great voyagers. Over the centuries, they began to migrate south, sailing through the warm, shallow waters of New Guinea and the Solomon Islands. They became known as the Lapita culture. They were a people of the sea, leaving behind fragments of clay pottery marked with simple, beautiful patterns, like footprints pressed into the wet sand of ancient beaches. For these people, the ocean was not an enemy to conquer. It was a cradle. From the very moment a child was born, they were introduced to the warm, salt water of the lagoon. Children learned to swim before they could walk. They learn to float on their backs, looking up at the sky, feeling the gentle rise and fall of the tide. They learn the texture of the wet sand, the cool brush of the wind at dawn, and the sharp, clean smell of the salt air. As they grew, they came to understand that the ocean was alive, a deep, breathing companion that would always provide for them. But as the generations passed, some of the smaller islands became crowded. Food would become scarce, or families would seek new beginnings in the quiet of the sea. And so, they would gather on the sandy beaches. They would build their double-hulled vessels, loading them with young plants, clay pots, and their most precious belongings. Imagine a quiet afternoon on an ancient beach. A young family is preparing to leave their home island, knowing they will never return. The mother holds her baby close to her chest, listening to the soft murmur of the waves. The father stands on the wooden deck of the canoe, checking the hand-tied ropes one last time. The entire village gathers at the water's edge, singing a soft, low chant of farewell that drifts across the water like a sigh. As the woven sails catch the afternoon wind, the canoe begins to glide away. The family stands at the back of the vessel, watching their green valley slowly shrink into the blue mist of the horizon. They watch as the high cliffs become a faint grey line. Then a soft blue smudge, and finally, nothing but empty horizon. There is no fear in their hearts, only a deep, quiet trust that the ocean will carry them safely to a new home under the stars. To travel across these thousands of miles of empty water without charts or compasses, the Wayfinders developed a sacred art. It was a way of navigating that relied entirely on a deep, personal relationship with nature. Imagine a dark, clear night on the open water. A master navigator sits on the wooden deck of the canoe, his young son resting beside him. The father points a weathered finger up at the starlit dome of the sky. He does not just teach his son the names of the stars, he teaches him their paths. He explains that the sky is a giant, dome-shaped house with 32 doors, or houses, along the horizon. Each star has its own door where it rises in the east, and its own door where it sets in the west. The boy watches as a bright star rises from the water, glowing like a warm ember. "That is our guide," the father whispers in the dark. "As long as we keep that star aligned with the wooden beam of our hull, we are walking the correct path." They watch the star climb slowly, drawing an invisible line across the night sky, before it sinks peacefully back into the dark ocean in the west. They use stars like Hōkūleʻa, the North Star, which remains fixed and always points north. And when they sail into the southern hemisphere where Hōkūleʻa disappears, they use the new constellation, or the Southern Cross, drawing an imaginary line down to the horizon to find the south. When the clouds roll in and cover the stars, the wayfinder must rely on other senses. Let us picture a young wayfinder, sailing on his very first long voyage. The night is dark, and the sky is covered in thick, heavy clouds. There are no stars to guide them. He lies flat on his stomach on the damp wood of the platform. He shuts his eyes tightly to block out the darkness. He presses his chest and his thighs against the wood, letting his body become one with the canoe. At first, all he feels is a chaotic jumble of water, waves hitting the hull from all directions. But then, as he breathes out, his teacher places a gentle, steady hand on his shoulder. "Do not listen with your ears," the teacher whispers. "Feel the ocean with your body." And suddenly, the chaos fades. He feels a slow, rhythmic lift, then a gentle roll, and a soft, cradling drop. It is the standing swell, that gentle, oval-shaped cradle of water we spoke of earlier. It is the invisible fence of water formed by swells refracturing around distant islands and meeting one another. As long as the young wayfinder can feel this steady, repeating rhythm beneath his body, he knows they are safe. They are inside the cradle. They are on course. Take a slow breath in. And let it out slowly. Let the sound of the open ocean carry you deeper. Underneath the water, another mystery guides them through the deep. In the deepest darkness of the night, when there are no stars and the wind is quiet, the experienced navigator looks down into the water. There, he looks for Lapa, the ghostly, silent flashes of underwater light. These lights do not flash like bioluminescence on the surface. They are deeper, glowing beneath the waves like soft, underwater lightning. They always flash in the direction of land, up to 150 miles away. And each island has its own subtle color of light. One island might call with a bright white light, another with a soft, warm yellow, and another with a cool, greenish blue. It is a silent, beautiful guide, never captured by any camera, seen only by those who know how to quiet their minds and look into the deep. And then, as the sky begins to lighten in the east, the birds arrive. The wayfinder watches the white manuoku birds as they rise into the morning air. These birds fly straight out from their islands to fish, traveling up to 120 miles into the open ocean. In the morning, they fly straight toward the sea. And at sunset, they rise off the water and fly in a perfect, straight line back to their nests. By watching the path of a single bird at dusk, the navigator can draw a straight line through the water, leading his people directly to the safety of a hidden shore. They also watch the drifting plants in the water, and the shape of the clouds resting over the horizon, knowing that a large, stationary cloud often sits above a high, green island, holding it in a quiet embrace. For centuries, these brave voyagers traveled farther and farther into the quiet corners of the Pacific. They mapped a giant triangle of 13 million square miles. Its northern corner reached the misty mountains of Hawaii, its eastern corner reached the lonely stone giants of Rapa Nui, or Easter Island, and its southern corner reached the green, forested valleys of Aotearoa, New Zealand. To achieve this, they built vessels of incredible beauty and strength. One of these was the Tepukei, a sacred canoe built in the traditional ways of the ancestor Lapita. The Tepukei was a wonder of ancient design. Its hull was carved to run mostly underwater, sliding beneath the waves like a silent submarine, making it incredibly fast and stable in the deep sea. The surface of the wood was not sanded smooth. Instead, the builders left a scalloped, textured pattern of adze cuts. This texture created tiny pockets of air against the wood, reducing friction and allowing the hull to glide effortlessly through the water. And above the hull rose a beautiful, crescent-shaped sail, curving like a new moon. This sail resembled the ancestor later raising his arms to catch the wind. Aerodynamic engineers today have studied this sail and found that its curved shape draws the wind up its leading edge, creating vortex lift, the very same physical principle used by modern delta-wing jet planes to soar through the sky. When the canoe needed to change direction, the crew did not turn the boat around. Instead, they performed a process called shunting. They would lower the sail, carry the entire mast and rigging to the other end of the canoe, and raise it again, turning the back of the boat into the front. Every person on board had to move in perfect harmony, balanced like a single body, to keep the canoe from tipping. And as they traveled, they held a deep, quiet trust in the wind. They understood the winds through Tiinahonga, the system of 32 named wind positions. They knew that the wind followed the sun, shifting its home throughout the seasons. When they needed the wind to change, the chiefs and the weatherwalkers would use sacred wooden sticks, offering a gentle gift on an ancestor's grave. With quiet respect, they would ask the ancestors to guide the wind. And within 3 days, the wind would shift, settling softly into its new house, carrying the travelers safely across the blue empty spaces. They always traveled upwind first, sailing into the wind so that if they found nothing, they could simply turn around and let the prevailing breeze carry them safely back to their home islands. It was a slow, thoughtful exploration, a quiet conversation between humans and the earth. To measure how far they had traveled each day, they looked at the water. They kept track of their speed using a simple, natural formula. They would look over the side of the canoe and count the seconds it took for ocean bubbles to float between the wooden crossbeams, or yakos. If a bubble took 5 seconds to pass, they were moving at 5 knots. If it took 3 seconds, they were gliding smoothly at over 8 knots. By memorizing where they came from and keeping track of their speed and time, they could pull islands out of the ocean, finding tiny specks of land in a vast, blue wilderness. As the centuries passed, a quiet shadow fell over the great ocean. With the arrival of European ships in the 1700s, the ancient ways began to fade. The great double-hulled canoes were no longer built. The star paths were no longer whispered from father to son. Because these traditions were kept entirely in the memory, with nothing written down, the knowledge began to sleep. Within just a few generations, the art of deep-sea celestial navigation was almost completely lost. Skeptics in the modern world began to write books, claiming that the Polynesians were never smart enough to navigate the open ocean. They claimed that the settlement of these thousands of islands was nothing more than an accident, a series of crude rafts drifting aimlessly at the mercy of the currents. But the dream did not die. It only slept. In 1972, a small group of dreamers formed the Polynesian Voyaging Society. They wanted to prove to the world that their ancestors were brilliant wayfinders. They drew plans for a replica of an ancient voyaging canoe, a vessel they would name Hōkūleʻa, the Star of Gladness. She was built with absolutely no metal fittings, nails, or screws. Her hulls and crossbeams were lashed together entirely by hand, using 5 miles of hand-woven rope. Breathe in the salt air. And let it go. The ocean is carrying you now. You are safe. But as the canoe neared completion, they realized something terrifying. There was not a single person left in all of Polynesia who knew how to navigate her by the stars. The art had vanished. They searched the vast Pacific, looking for someone who still held the ancient map in their mind. And in a tiny, quiet corner of Micronesia, they found him. His name was Mau Piailug, known affectionately as Papa Mau. He was the last master navigator on the planet willing to share his sacred knowledge. In 1976, Papa Mau stepped onto the deck of Hōkūleʻa. He took on the monumental task of guiding her 2,500 miles from Hawaii to Tahiti, using only his eyes, his mind, and his heart. The stakes were incredibly high. If they failed, the world would continue to believe that their ancestors were incapable. But Papa Mau did not fail. For a month, he watched the stars rise and set. He felt the rhythm of the swells. He watched the white birds at dusk. And one quiet morning, the green mountains of Tahiti rose out of the ocean mist, exactly where Papa Mau knew they would be. Over 17,000 people gathered on the beach, weeping and singing, as the sacred canoe sailed into the harbor. The ancient knowledge had woken up. Though the journey was not without its trials, the spirit of the Wayfinder could not be silenced. Hōkūleʻa would go on to sail over 150,000 miles across the decades that followed, including one voyage that circumnavigated the entire globe, a 3-year journey around the world, held together only by the strength of her ropes and the love of her crew. As we prepare to close our journey tonight, let your mind rest on these peaceful memories of the sea. If you wish to explore these ancient paths further, or if you find comfort in the quiet details of history, you might enjoy reading more about these early voyages. There are gentle books that tell the stories of Hōkūleʻa and the master Wayfinders. Books that you can open on a quiet evening, letting the stories wash over you like a warm tide. For now, simply let your book close. Let the pages rest. There is nothing more you need to do tonight. No paths to find, no stars to follow. You are exactly where you need to be. The night is quiet now. The stars are shining bright above your bed, just as they have shone over the Pacific for thousands of years. Somewhere in the vast silence of the southern sea, the double-hulled canoe continues to rest inside its gentle, oval-shaped cradle of standing water. The invisible fence of water holds the vessel in its steady, comforting rhythm, rocking it slowly under a blanket of soft clouds. The navigator has closed his eyes, resting his head against the warm wooden planks, listening to the soft, rhythmic lullaby of the ocean. He knows that the ancestors are watching over him. He knows that the stars are in their houses, and the wind is at peace. The water is still. The air is cool and soft. You, too, can let yourself drift now. Let the slow, gentle rising and falling of the swells carry you into a deep, dreamless sleep. The ocean is holding you. The stars are guiding you home. Sleep now, sleep.